Are huge rosters or a large cast of characters necessary in today's time with fighting games? We getting to a point now to where, you know, Guilty Gear Strive is about to come out and it only has like 15 characters, and we're seeing some people online who feel like that's not enough. You know, like only 15 characters, that's very a depleted roster. You know, they would feel, and it seems like, yeah, we can get kind of spoiled with that because, you know, how many characters does Street Fighter 5 have in it now? Like 40 something, 50 something?
Like 41 or 42, I believe.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so it's like 40 something characters in Street Fighter. We even got to talk about Smash. So, you know,
Mugen.
yeah, so, you know, it's a lot of we getting games now that have very large rosters to the point now where some people think, I mean, if you only have like 15, I mean, come on, you're lacking in your roster to start off the game. So how do you guys feel about this? Do you feel like in today's time we need 15, I mean, a large variety of characters in a game when it's released? So take it to you, Devin.
Okay, I'll put it like this. I think today's age, 15 to 20 is like maybe a standard, I feel. And if we look at like fighting games throughout the years, like the decades, has there ever really been many games that were like had like huge rosters? I mean, Street Fighter 2 originally started with like what 8 characters? Um and of course I'm not including like Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I mean, that was a versus game. They had a million characters in there. Tekken 3 maybe had about 15 to 20 characters total, even with all the unlockable characters. Alpha 3, Alpha 3, I think had like 20 plus, if I'm not mistaken. Then they had about 20 or so. Third Strike, maybe around 20, 18 to 20, I guess. So honestly, if you look at it, that's kind of like an average number for most fighting games. I do think though that maybe you can maybe up it a bit, maybe 20 to 25. I will say again, as we talked about before, last week the culprit was Grand Blue. What they're doing is like they gave us about what 10 to 12 somewhere in that ballpark, and it's like they already got season passes, so it's like at least give us enough to sink our teeth into. I kind of miss unlockable characters as well. Like nowadays we kind of get it, but it's kind of watered down. Like Dragon Ball Fighters, which is actually a game that has a bigger roster, but again, most of that's DLC though. Um, they have characters you can unlock, Vegeta Blue and Goku Blue, but you can also buy them. You can also unlock Android 21, but you can buy her as well. I just feel like give me like 20 to 25. I think that'll be fine. But at the same time, I guess you have to look at it like these different characters that they develop and program. It's like they all have different play styles. So maybe they have to take into consideration, like, okay, this character is kind of unique. There's a lot going on with this character. So maybe we have to cut the roster a bit to like accommodate for this character's play style and how long it took to like make everything work with this character. So I don't know. I'm not a character designer or developer, but that's just me thinking. So yeah, I think maybe 20 to 25 could be a solid number just to give you feel like, okay, I got a decent amount of characters off the bat because we know this day and age is nothing but DLC, so you know it's gonna come at some point. DLC is coming. So give me something off the bat, and then I'll feel a little more comfortable about spending some money on characters. But if you give me like 15 characters and then I have to buy 15, 20 more, I'm like, okay, just give me something from the beginning, you know.
As far as like having like 15 characters at the especially all right, specifically in terms of like Guilty Gear Strive, I think some of the issues that people have, especially with Guilty Gear, is that there are so many characters that are already in the canon that are part of like the Guilty Gear story that aren't in the game, that it's like, well, why are we launching with like, you know, only 15 characters when there's like all these other characters that have already been in past games that have like, you know, like that don't like that you're not putting in the game this time. It doesn't make any sense.
That's a good
And
point.
yeah, it's like the same thing with like Tekken. It's like all the so we have new characters. We have Katarina. We had Gigas, who was kind of like Marduk, except not. Like we have like Josie, who's kind of like Bruce, except not. But whatever, right? We have all these characters in the game that are new, with like some of the old characters. And then you want to try to resell me characters from older games. Like you want to resell me characters from Tekken 7 and Tekken Tag 2 and stuff like that. I mean, in Tekken Tag 2, were there any DLC characters? I mean,
I don't think so.
I don't think, yeah, I feel like all the characters just kind of came bundled into the game. And, I don't know. If you're going to sell me new characters, like if there's a new character that's never been seen before, okay, fine. I understand. Go ahead and sell me that character. I may or may not buy them. But for you to sell me a character that's been in old games, that doesn't sit that well with me because in Guilty Gear, we have all these characters. They've announced all these characters. They just announced Anji Mito. People are waiting for that. But I mean, like, what about like Zappa and like Testament and stuff? Basically if they're going to be in the game, those are going to be like piecemeal to us over time. And I think that's one of the issues people have with like smaller rosters because the less characters you have, that means that the more characters are going to end up selling you in the future, especially if they're older characters. They're just going to end up selling you the old characters that they had in the games before. You're like, why isn't this character in the game? Now, when people ask whether or not a character in the game, they're like, well, why isn't this character in the game? Oh, that's right, because they're gonna sell them later. It used to be, why isn't this character in the game? That makes no sense. Like, well, maybe they'll be in the next one. Now it's like, oh well, they're just gonna try to sell it to me later, I guess. Just like always. Now we've just kind of, I don't know, become like, just used to the fact that they're going to torture us later on by like dangling like, oh, you want this character for $5? Go ahead, come on, here it is. It's just the one character, or you can buy the season pass and make it feel like we're being like, they're giving us such charity. Oh man, oh please just give me all these characters in one pack. Thank you so much. And it doesn't make to me it makes like no sense, man, because they're old characters. Like if Testament, Zappa, and like I don't know, like Justice were in the next DLC, it'd be like, oh man, all these characters are so awesome. But then like for everybody who's already played the game, like these characters are old. Like you should have had them in the game already. Why are you emailing us these characters and they're charging $50 for the season pass? Like they do like or $30 like Grand Blue or something like that. Oh yeah, man, you're getting all this content. These are old characters. You should have given us something like this in the beginning, in the very beginning. Give us new characters. You can go in like if they Deadman as like a DLC character in the last game. I'm like, oh okay, that makes sense. I've never seen this guy before. They're giving me something new. Don't give me old stuff and charge me for it later. Eh, all right, and that so yeah, I think it's more about like, in my opinion, it's not necessarily about how many characters it is. It's about you taking old characters that should be in the base game and then selling it to me later. So yeah, that's how I feel about that.